I'm on a journey to explore Azerbaijan. Neither Asia nor Europe, this is a country where a colourful past and prosperous present intertwine.
The price of the caviar in Azerbaijan is like 4 times less than in UK.
Filled with ancient wonders, it's a place where the natural world has shaped its history for generations. A unique country with 9 climate zones. It borders Russia to the north, Iran to the south, with the Caspian Sea on one side, and Georgia and Armenia on the other. I want to explore the many faces of Azerbaijan, both old and new, through its people, culture and food, to find out more about this diverse and complex country.
Baku is a swing. It's a genius.
Fish, duh.
My favorite. I love fish. Nesrin, hi. And there are horses.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to have horses. I'm also here to find out why the likes of you and me, potential tourists, are seen as the bright new hope, as an alternative to black gold. So welcome to Azerbaijan. When you look at the guidebook or on travel websites, or in fact almost anything about Azerbaijan, they all start by telling you the same thing. Azerbaijan is the land of fire. Huge natural gas and oil deposits are so close to the surface that they cause these natural fires to spring out of the ground. Fires which burned continuously for over 4,000 years were once common across Azerbaijan, but this is now the last. Right up here, it's really, really pretty hot. Right up to your face, you can really sense it. The whole of my body is really, really hot. This is incredible. It's beautiful and bewitching at the same time. 2,500 years ago, these fires enticed Zoroastrian priests from Persia, who considered them a divine miracle. No wonder people, for thousands of years, have pretty well worshipped this. Certainly felt spiritual about it. I do. It's overwhelming. But halfway through the 19th century, Azerbaijan's natural wonders attracted a different but equally fervent kind of outsider, the oil magnate. As the world became industrialized, people realized the value of the oil underneath the surface, and the world's first oil well was drilled. The sheer abundance of the black stuff is clear to see as you take a taxi into the capital city, Baku. Perhaps a better name for Azerbaijan should be the land of oil rather than land of fires, because they stretch on these oil fields for miles. By the turn of the 20th century, Azerbaijan was producing half of the world's oil, making multi-millionaires overnight. Can I ask you, how much is, I don't know, a litre of petrol here?
A little of petrol is 50 cents.
50 cents? Wow, that is about a quarter of what it costs back at home.
Yeah.
But they know here that oil and gas is not forever.
Nobody can prove that, but I think we have plenty of it, still plenty of it.
But across the world, fossil fuels are being phased out. Along with most other nations, Azerbaijan signed up to the Paris Agreement to cut emissions to net zero by 2050. But in the meantime, all this easy oil has meant huge prosperity for Azerbaijan, and in particular for Baku. People tell me that the city landscape in Baku has transformed massively in the last 2 decades. In fact, walk around these parts and you can almost smell the wealth here. Baku is right next to the Caspian Sea, where much of the sturgeon fish, which produces the world's most expensive caviar, comes from. So where better to try some for the first time?
This is a basic type of caviar. It has a black color and the size of the eggs is quite small.
Yeah.
So the most proper way to taste the caviar is to taste it from your hand.
Okay.
And then put it on your tongue and then push the tongue to the top of your mouth.
Okay.
And make it slowly. Feel the taste spreading all over your mouth.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. Let's do the cheers. Do you feel how the taste develops? It started with something sour,
Yeah.
and then it became salty.
Yeah.
So the longer this taste evolution is, the better the caviar is.
Yeah. Yeah. This is delicious. It's a little bit like pate, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Caviar acquired its cachet in the 1920s, when after the Russian Revolution, wealthy aristocrats fled to Paris, bringing their expensive tastes with them.
Cheers.
Interesting.
So now let me open the beluga caviar.
Yeah.
This is the top level product. Don't finish it. Small sip, small. It prolongs.
The creaminess definitely comes out. Tiny bit of the nuttiness I can taste there as well. Yeah. So tell me how expensive it is.
So more than $200 for 113 gram of beluga jar. Obviously say that the price of the caviar in Azerbaijan is like 4 times less than in UK or in North America.
So basically what you're saying is that this would cost about $800.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But not everybody in Baku sips champagne and samples caviar. Underneath the streets runs the metro, frequented by regular Bakuvian commuters, and now me.
Right, well, I've never been on the metro here before, and lesson number 1, buy a ticket. Okay, that way. You can get Baku car only. Do I want a Baku car? English. Oh, I have to select a card to purchase. Hi, can you help me? Yeah, I just need to buy 1 ticket for the station 28th of May.
1 ticket.
Yeah.
Copy.
Huh?
Copy. One. Bir ticket.
At one point, it felt like half the station was trying to help me buy a ticket.
Yay! Thank you very much. So, I am going to the 28th of May station, which is just here, and we are currently in Nizami, and rather conveniently, it looks like it's only 1 stop on the Green Line, so even I should be able to do this. Here we go.
From 1920 to 1991, Azerbaijan was part of the Soviet Union under communist rule, and many still view the state here as authoritarian, despite independence. The Soviet planning policy was that when a city reached 1 million people, it was required to have a metro, and Baku's was built in the 1960s.
Before we got on the train, I've been told to look out for this amazing mix of kind of Soviet architecture and Azerbaijani artwork. And actually, if you look here, this to me is very traditional mosaic. And they're all around, the mosaics everywhere. Right, let's look for my line, the green line, which goes to 28th of May. That way. Ah, here is the train.
Currently, 4 lines serve 27 stations, but there are plans to expand.
Well, it is only 1 stop. It's very clear here.
My station.
I think we're here. This is real Baku.
The capital's heritage is one that's changed dramatically over the years, with layers upon layers of influence, including, of course, Soviet. I've come across town to meet Fuad, who's a bit of a local celebrity here. I've been told that he's the expert on how this city has developed over the years.
You must be Fuad.
somehow. Pleasure meeting you,
How'd
Rajan.
you do?
Good to see you.
Fuad is known as a local historian, legendary for giving extensive tours around Baku, sporting his bag of photos to illustrate the city.
This is a building that used to be Japanese cinema, built by one of the local oil barons who happened to be in Japan and was so much impressed by the architecture that built something shaped after a kind of pagoda.
Right.
And then the Soviets came and turned it into the Workers' Theater of Baku.
Okay.
And they made the renovation adequate to the name.
So this is the same building?
Exactly the same building,
Yeah.
but all the flamboyance is gone. It looks like a
that's
prison. So I used to joke saying that architecture shows the spirit of its time. So at the times of oil boom, it was impressive. Well, then under Stalin it becomes oppressive. Then further down it becomes depressive. And here it's post-Soviet and post-depressive, a kind of cascading downfall.
Post-depressive.
Post-Soviet and post-depressive. Now, why won't I take you to a place where we could have a traditional local tea?
Excellent.
So in Azerbaijan, the tea must be hot. But to keep the heat of the tea for a longer time, they made this waste of the glass so that the bottom part is always hotter. And whether you want or no, you subconsciously grab it from the top. And from the top, you have a higher space for evaporation. So it's slightly cooler on top than in the bottom. Tea doesn't like haste.
Right.
Slow down.
Yeah.
And when you're slowed down, you can talk of everything. Yeah, but first, let's get a little bit tranquilized.
Fuad has seen the changes in Azerbaijan firsthand.
When I was a kid at school, we're told that everything great had to start after 1920, when the communists came into power in Azerbaijan, and just a mere glance at the architecture of Baku was enough to say that the best buildings were built before 1920, and what they built after was not to the standards oftentimes, and there were no books written, and there were no researches made. I started going into old houses trying to find out descendants. And I started collecting these private family stories with pictures of the owner. So for me, it was important to see the owner behind the house, and that brought the house to life.
From what I've observed being around Baku, I'm seeing some real exhibitions of wealth. From your perspective, is this Baku unleashed?
Baku is a swing. It's a jazz. It's a society where everyone plays its own game, but it kind of accommodates his own piece of music with others.
Right.
So with this flamboyance, you get something very jazzy, something very mixed, you know? And that's the reason why, by the way, Baku was one of the hotbeds of jazz in the Caucasus. And that was exactly the time when Khrushchev outlawed jazz.
But jazz is alive and well today. Isfar is making waves internationally with a fusion of modern jazz and traditional Azerbaijani music called mugam.
It's coming from 11th, 12th century, yeah, but it's Arabic stuff, Iranian, you know.
Can you show me?
I'll try some stuff on, you know. That's kind of, you know, jazzy stuff, and this phrase is very specific, you know. It's from the melody which the mugam singers use it, you know, the tar players or kamancha players, they use this kind of phrases. But I play the fourth chord, like, you know, it's like...
So you're really mashing up all these different modes of music, from jazz to classical to mugam, and it works.
Yeah, for me, I think that's very interesting, you know, to use it, yeah.
This is brilliant. It uplifts the soul. And it is really interesting how you've got this music that comes originally from the deep south of the States of America, and then you've got this music, mugam, from the Caucasus, and they come together and produce something extraordinary, something magical. One of the most incredible things I've learned about Azerbaijan is that within this small country, there are 9 out of the 11 climate zones that exist in the world. And you can really see that when you drive out into the countryside, because you go from desert to green fields. And up in the mountains, you can actually see snow-capped peaks. But surprisingly, this remote rural region is the backdrop for a viral social media sensation.
This is the place where the magic happens.
Wow. This is what we see on all the videos.
Yeah.
But if you're expecting a self-obsessed, overconfident, chatty 20-something,
The man,
think again.
YouTube star.
Salam aleyküm, hoş geldiniz.
Delighted to meet you. Salam.
Tawakkul has a massive 5 million followers, with millions of global views of his videos each week. He fronts atmospheric films about traditional Azerbaijani cooking and lifestyle. With no music or commentary, he lets the food do all the talking.
Super,
He does have a catchphrase, though, you may have noticed.
super.
And we're gonna cook here.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
This oven, this is an oven, yeah? Wow.
Oven. It calls tandoor, tandir.
Like tandoori.
It calls tandir.
We have
Fish, da.
I think, this is my favourite. I love fish.
Kızıl balık.
En sevdiğim.
İyi Allah.
Okay. Now the other side of the cooking. Ah, I can see. Which of these vegetables are from just around here?
Göz bağımızdan da bundan çok elave. Göbelekten elave hamsi bağımızdan. Okey.
Now then.
Başlayak?
Yep.
Başlayak. Tuzlayak hamsını. Sen kömeğini misin?
With his easy manner, Tawakkul guides viewers, and today me,
Ha bakın zövge göre. Ha, zövge göre.
through the art of country cuisine.
That's exactly how you do it.
But the brains behind the channel, the real YouTuber, is his nephew, Shamil. And this isn't just a family business, it's part of a big operation.
It all started with videos for kids, but then we start to film cooking channels. When you do YouTube, you have to upload a lot of videos every week, every few days. And that's why you have to be like smart, you have to be fast.
How many videos is this company basically making every week?
I think in a week, I think maybe 10, 15.
10 to 15
Yeah,
videos a
yeah.
week you're producing. That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the beauty of not just being one of those viewers, but actually meeting Tawakkul in person, is that you actually get to taste the food.
Because so many people around the world are seeing your videos, do you think it's helping tourism in Azerbaijan?
Elbette. Azerbaycan'ın bütün mətbəəni tanıyırlar. Təbiəti ilə tanış olurlar. Hər yerdə Azərbaycanı sevirlər və gəlmək istəyirlər.
Did you ever think that a guy cooking food in his garden in rural Azerbaijan, did you ever imagine that the whole world would be watching that?
I imagined it, but not on this level. It was like a dream come true.
Super!
There is a downside to having a beautiful mountain range here in Azerbaijan, and it's this. Right now, we are here in Kabala, and we want to go just 40 kilometers away, roughly, to Shadeg, our next destination. But because of that amazing mountain range, we have to drive all the way back to the capital, and then come all the way out again to Shadeg, which is an 8-hour round car journey.
Mind you, the next people I'm heading to meet would probably choose the mountain route. Since 2014, hiking has exploded as an activity in the Caucasus. Part of that is due to the Transcaucasian Trail, a mega project building a hiking route stretching across the whole Caucasus region, from Georgia to Azerbaijan.
Okay, I think we have arrived. Here we go. Well, hello.
Hello!
It's the team.
This crew are working on the Azerbaijani section.
Nazrin.
Nesrine, hi. And there are horses. I didn't know we were going to have horses. Wow.
They've invited me to help scout out a potential addition to the route.
So this route actually, it will be coming from the Griz village, which is one of the high mountain villages of Azerbaijan, and it drops down into Laza, which is a beautiful scenic village.
Fantastic, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Grab a horse. A couple years ago, I was trying to find some fun hiking to do. I found the Transcaucasian Trail, got so excited, but saw that Azerbaijan hadn't been added to the project yet. So I came out, and I've been here ever since. Well, up there, we've got these rocky formations, which we want to avoid. Here, along the grass, you can see that the sheep have already carved out some nice trails that flow with the contour of the landscape. If we were to build a new trail, we would dig out the earth to make a wider, flatter area for hikers to walk on.
The TCT is built by volunteers, and we headed down to meet some who are working on an existing trail which had become overgrown.
This is a pair of loppers.
Yep.
Hold it in both hands.
Yep.
You'll see there's a lot that we can cut over here that's getting in the way.
Okay.
Yep. I fell in love with the trail idea because you're slowing people down. You're really encouraging people to interact on a human-to-human basis.
What's your ultimate aim? Do you want like, hundreds of kilometers of routes connected?
Actually, one day, we're going to have 3,000 kilometers of interconnected trail.
So my time in Azerbaijan is up, and my takeaway is that this is a country of wild and wonderful contrasts.
It's a country where some enjoy immense wealth, while others continue to live simple lives. This small nation has had a turbulent history, and the repercussions are still being felt today. And as the demand for oil runs out, Azerbaijan is going to have to make some difficult choices to secure its future.
But ultimately, what I take away most of all is the boundless generosity and hospitality of the Azerbaijani people.